Peace, guys. Today I wanted to come on and talk about co-creation, community, and individual contribution. And no, I'm not talking about the basic co-creation of man and woman making a child. I'm talking about us as a humanity collective co-creating in this vast universe to make it easier for everyone that lives here and generations going forward. For example, what do I mean by that? So, like the homes we live in, the that was laid, the cars we drive, the clothes on our body, the shoes on our feet. We did not, as an individual, make all these things by ourselves. It took other people outside ourselves to create these things. I know there are people who have different set of skills, different ideas to create these things. Can you imagine what life would be like if it was only one person responsible for all of that? One person to build the homes, to create the pipes for the sewer line, the one who created all our clothes. In one lifetime, that person would not be able to get all jobs done. It will be literally impossible. That is the reason why there are so many people in this world. Because we are all here to help each other, to share the load. And let's scale it down to on a community level. I have spoken to some people and they may feel uncomfortable about putting out a product because they feel, oh, there's someone else with that same idea, or I was going to do that, but I think this other person say that already, so I don't want to make the same thing the other person did or say the same thing the other person did. Do you know how many people in the world? Again, there is no way one individual person can touch all these people on a farming scale. Let's say there's one farmer. There's not one farmer that can contribute a billions enough product for every person in the world. There need to be multiple farmers. There need to be multiple people with similar ideas. Of course, it would never be exactly the same because everyone put their own little pizzazz on it. But we need other people that's in a line of the same field, similar field, to reach their own individual community, to reach out to certain people. There is no way, again, that one person can reach the number of people that's needed in the world. So that is where the community come in. You have your own little small niche, you have your own little small sector where you are contributing to. All of my followers are not all of your followers. On your Instagram page, me and you don't have exactly the same number of people. So even if you was to share this video or was to turn around and say the same thing on your page, it wouldn't affect nothing because your people, it reached the people who was meant to hear from you versus the people who heard it from me got to hear from me. So let's even scale it down to an individual level. How are we individually creating and contributing to this world? No person is meant here to be nothing. Everyone came here with a duty, a job, something to contribute. Even as someone like a homeless person. Do you know if you take a time and talk to a homeless person, they have the most amazing stories to tell you. The hardships, the good ships, the things that we look over and not appreciate, and you have a whole new sense of gratitude, a whole new sense of lessons that you don't want to go down that same path or something that you had never experienced that he had experienced, and you'd be like, well, maybe I need to do that. Maybe it's something I need to look into. So everyone played their part to share their story. Even entertainers. You know, some people, parents be like, oh, you a comedian or a dancer or an actor can't make it in this world. That is not a serious job. Do you know it can contribute to if someone was having a bad day and they was so angry, then they come home and they watch a comedy and then lift up their spirit and they make them happy again. So you're contributing to the emotional security of another person. Even if it's someone else depressed and then they come on and watch a movie or cut on a YouTube and it's someone spilling their truth about something that they've been through, and you can relate on an emotional level and like, oh wow, finally someone who understands me. Oh, this movie resonates because I've been through that. So it is always a reason that someone is here, either to share a story, to make something for us, and each year, each generation is expanding on the next generation. So whatever the things that our parents put out, we have advanced it on them. So the cars from the 1950s ain't the same cars that we got now. It's more advanced because we expanded on the knowledge that was given, that was passed down from generation to generation because they contribute, they co-created, they contribute, they created the ideas of the cars, and then the next generation expand. So that's the same thing. What I'm teaching now or what I'm doing now, I'm feeding this into my children. I'm also feeding it out there to the younger generation, and they're going to take this knowledge and run with it and even advance more than what I have put out. So that is how we're meant to be. So that's why it's important to understand that we are all co-creators. We all have a community to serve, and we all have an individual contribution to make on this world, no matter how big and no matter how small. And on a global scale, right now we are in Libra season. Libra represents the balancing scale, the we, and we're going to a full moon tomorrow, which illuminates the opposite sign, which is the Aries, the I. So it's the community versus the individual. So some questions that you may ask yourself is, how am I on an individual contributing to the world as a whole? Or how am I as an individual contributing to my local community? And then another question is, how is my community serving me? So it has to be the balance. So the community that you're in, are you feeding into the community, and is the community feeding back into you? And if not, find a community that you can feed into that's feeding back to you. And then as a whole, we are creating contributions, and whatever you're putting into that, it's feeding the next generation. It's feeding the next millennium, you know? So that is my message of today. I know it was kind of long, but peace, love, and wellness.